the underlying principles and values of this project. Now, one of the ones that you mentioned, Ian, is the Living Building Challenge. Now, what's that all about? Where does that come from?
It was something I discovered a couple of years ago, and I got really excited about it because it originally came from the States. It was called the Living Futures Institute. The component is now in Australia, so you can go to a Living Futures Institute website, which is an Australian website, but what we're using it for, we're using it right from the very beginning so that we get a design that when we come at the end of 12 months, we're not just concerned about compliance. We're actually going to be checking that we've achieved our own goals. So the Living Building Challenge sits there for us to set the terms of engagement in these projects.
Reading through, I mean, it's quite interesting to me that they're talking about going beyond the zero carbon thing, that a project should, if possible, be a net positive, and they're talking about having requiring a sea change in building infrastructure and community design to be able to do all of that. So it's not just about the building materials, it's not just about the amount of energy that's being used later. This is also about community design, infrastructure design, agriculture, transport, and thinking about the wider impact of the project.
And they're really important in what the Urban Integration Working Group wants to do, because it's too often we're just looking at going into a space, building a development on a site. We want outcomes that are going to address some of the things that we're talking about in terms of the Urban Integration Working Group, but we want to extend that further. We've got to look to beyond the short term. We've got to look to a future which is 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years away, because it's about us building something that has a great degree of resilience and flexibility built into it as well.
I mean, if I could share a couple of things that grab my attention. I'm not a designer or in the construction industry, but I was really intrigued by the need for it development to be human scale, both in the building process and at the end of the day. To achieve certification, companies need to show high quality business practices. There's something called the JUST label, so the certification in terms of the quality of people management that's going on. Investment needs to be equitable, so there's going to be something like an offset with an element going to appropriate charities. And there's a principle of health and happiness, which applies not just to the community that live there at the end of the day, the companies, the contractors that are going to be involved in building this need to apply these principles in terms of work-life balance, the resilience of the people that are getting involved here. And I think one of the ways that we want to create this is to to work on the principle of high-performing teams. Now, if anybody's been involved in a dysfunctional team, you know that you lose an awful lot of time and energy, poor communication, and there are safety issues when teams don't work well.
Well, I can vouch for that.
So I think we all can. So one of the key things here is from the outset is to be focusing on having really high-performing teams at every level that are involved in, and that principle flowing through to the neighbourhood, the community that live there.
Look, there is, and that's why I'm just so excited about what we're doing. We have an opportunity here to start doing things which are going to make such a difference at so many levels, and I think what you're saying here is such an important part of that process.
Okay, so that's the Living Building Challenge. That's what that's all about. That's going to be the benchmark for so many different aspects of this, from the starting line right through to well beyond completion of the project. And we're going to be learning a lot, but we're going to be contributing to the Living Futures Institute and its research into how problems get solved here.